Did you hear about the TikTok bride?
Another one?
Another one. Yes.
The one that washed her makeup off?
No. There's another one. Yeah, I cannot keep up. It is so wild. And the reason that I know about this one is because the photographer showed up on my free page and was basically kind of like defending herself. And so the story is this bride posted a TikTok and it was like, I forgot what, it was like a trending sound. And it was basically like when you receive your photos and you hate them or something along those lines. Honestly, I really didn't dig much deeper into this story because I was just like, there's no way there's another one. Like, it is wild. So the bride posted that trending sound and her TikTok with her and her husband now. And the photos were like at the reception. It looked like the reception was outside. And you know that style where it's kind of like fuzzy? It's not blurry, but it's like
I know what you're talking
soft
about.
and
like the clarity is like down a little bit and the highlights.
a little bit, but it's almost giving like, have you ever tried like that pantyhose trend where you like put it?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. It's like soft and like almost like dreamy vibes.
Okay.
And so she showed those pictures from her reception.
Okay.
Those were the only pictures she showed, were like those soft, like not blurry, but just soft and dreamy like photos. And those are the only ones she showed, of course, because how else is a TikTok gonna go viral? Well, then the photographer posted, and this is the first time I'm hearing about everything, okay?
Okay.
And so, of course, once I saw it, other TikToks started like to show me like everything else. So the photographer was basically like apologizing, like, I have been crying, like this has been like so overwhelming, basically. And she said she did everything she could, like she tried to give them the raw, she tried to like re-edit them, and she tried everything. Like she was just explaining, like, I thought we settled this, because they had settled it. And then she posted the TikTok, and I'm pretty sure, again, I didn't dig too deep into this, so don't, do some fact checking on this. But the bride tagged her in the post, and so everyone knew who the photographer was.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, is what I'm thinking. Okay, and so it is so crazy. And so then the photographer doesn't show like her gallery or anything. It wasn't until I saw another TikTok about it where someone showed like not the whole reception gallery, but like most of it, where it was just like she got good photos. She just chose to only put like those like aesthetic like ones that she obviously didn't like. And she had other ones that weren't like that. Yeah. And the photographer was like, I just put those in there just in case she did like them or just in case she didn't like them. Like, it was just like,
so like
her choice.
Her whole gallery wasn't like that.
No. Yeah. And so that's why people were like, what the heck? And it seems like most of the public is on the photographer's side and not on the bride's, because she came out with like that apology and just being like, I did everything I could. I thought this was settled. And then also just like everyone, like, I don't know how people got her gallery. I have no idea. Maybe the bride posted it. I'm not really sure about that, but I did see like people like scrolling on the gallery, and they were like, why did you choose to only show the bad ones and not like all of the other good ones? Because that gallery was good. It was just those few that were like, if you don't like that style, you're not gonna like it.
Okay.
But there was other options. It wasn't just
like
all
of these brides out here just trying to go viral.
People are like getting scared because it's like not. I feel like it hadn't happened until this past year, and yeah, it's becoming like this weird thing. But thank God it's almost like backfiring on the client, because obviously like people aren't stupid. Like they're gonna do more especially if it
Yeah.
goes viral, like they're going to do their research. They're going to be like, okay, show us all the pictures. Like, we want to see how bad this gallery actually is. Like,
Yeah.
people aren't stupid. And so I don't know what it is. I don't know if brides are trying to go viral or if, like, she really did hate the photos, but then the photographer said that it was all settled, so she thought it was good. I don't know. It's just becoming like so wild that people are just like ruining small businesses this way. But I don't know. Good for the photographer though, because she got a lot of likes and a lot of views on that video. So hopefully it does her good in
Well,
the long
I
run.
think we all learned from Sepia Bride
Yeah.
how to handle a situation like this.
Yeah.
So I bet that photographer, like, it sounds like she knew what to do. She made a video explaining her side. I feel like the Sepia Bride photographer was like silent for like months.
Oh, yeah.
And so it kind of sucks that you have to like take the narrative into your own hands.
Yeah, I know. And like kind of be defensive because it's like it goes viral and then people are like questioning the photographer, like, is this really your work? And also another thing that I forgot to mention was the photographer that posted the video like explaining everything, she wasn't the one that shot it. It was an associate shooter. And so but the gallery was good, Miranda. Like, I'll have to show you the TikTok clip. It was fine. It wasn't anything like that bad. And of course, like I said earlier, she just chose like those bad photos to show and not like the other a million good ones that she had in the gallery. And she tried to remedy the situation. She thought it was settled. And so she did everything she could. She didn't have to do everything that she did do. And so that's where people were like, oh yeah, we're on your side. Like, that's just crazy. And the thing with the other one that that washed her makeup off, everyone was on the makeup artist side.
Yeah. Well,
or at least from what I saw.
She had a good video too, I feel like.
Yes, she had a
makeup artist.
Yeah, she had a very, very good video. And I don't know, I just can't imagine that happening to me. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is scary territory for some people. Like, you are just trying to tear down small businesses for like no reason. And it's okay if you hate your photos, but like to go ahead and tag the photographers in the post is so wild.
That's crazy. Was this like bride like kind of, did she already have a following or?
I don't know, because she did delete the video, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's sus.
Yeah. Well, because people probably weren't on her side in the comments. They were like, girl, show us the whole gallery.
Wow.
Because it's like, how are you going to show 5 photos? And then people were saying like she was posting all the other photos and like, you know.
I just don't understand the whole let's complain about something to get clout. Like,
I don't know. It's just a trend, I guess. People just think that
trend.
Maybe they'll get a social following from it or just go viral. I don't know. Because even when you go viral, people don't just gain followers.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason for me to follow her, even if I was like, haha, oh my God, those photos are bad. Like, why would I follow her? So I don't know. It's weird, but yeah, I just had to talk about that one because I was like, oh my gosh, this is happening like every other week. It's kind of scary. Thank God I feel like I have really, really great clients. I would never do that, but
yeah, same. I'm like, I can't imagine my clients doing something like that.
I would. That would do a number on me. If I had to go through that, I don't know if I could.
Yeah.
Mentally.
Oh my God.
That'd just be so hard. Like having to like set up your phone and be like, guys, I tried everything I could to make this bride happy and I don't know what happened, but yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. I'm surprised you didn't see it because I think I saw it yesterday or the day before and I was just like, oh my gosh, I cannot keep up with these brides and these photographers and wedding vendors that are just getting trashed online for really no good reason. I feel sad for everyone involved. That's super sad. The bride can not like her photos. Like, I'm not saying she has, she can't, but it just seems very weird that her and the photographer came to a good, what am I trying to say? They had already settled things, and then she was like, let me just make a TikTok about it.
Well, to tag, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. She deleted the video, so I'm not sure if that was actually true, but that's what other people made it seem like, who actually saw the bride's video. And so, yeah, I was just like really sad for the photographer, but Yeah, it's just crazy that that's happening because I haven't seen anything like that
Yeah.
happen in a while, I guess, in terms of like how the internet works. Like people are doing it on TikTok, but I don't know if people have done it like on other social platforms. Maybe they have. It's just not as like viral because of TikTok
What's
and the way the
wild
algorithm works.
What's wild is I feel like this is very niche to the wedding industry because let's say you hired an interior designer to like redo a room and you didn't like the result. Like you wouldn't go on TikTok and be like, I hate this interior designer, look at my room. Like I just feel like you don't see that in any other industry except for like photography or like, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah. Well, I see it a lot with hairstylists. I feel like there's been a lot of drama with hairstylists that I've seen on like my For You page, and not just wedding specific, but just like just hairstylists in general, which is crazy because it's like no one goes on there and talks about like Skims or like
Right.
trashes like these big companies that one review isn't going to ruin their entire life.
yeah.
And with like small businesses, it's like, yeah, one review can ruin our entire career and like our business and everything. And so, of course, people are going to try their hardest to like make sure the bride is happy and their parents are happy and everyone involved is happy. So, I don't know. It's just wild to me that this is like becoming a trend. And I wonder if it's going to go into other industries of like small businesses
Yeah, I mean,
of like interior design. Yeah. Just because we're not in the industry. So I wonder if it is happening or if it's like just on our For You pages or if it's happened in like other industries. Because I know for sure I've seen it a lot with the hair stylist people. I've seen that happen a lot. So I wonder if it's just like it started with like hairstylists and now it's going into like the wedding industry. And oh no, it's scary. Because people are like, what am I going to put in my contract? Or like, what, how can I stop this? But you really can't because it's like the same with like a review. You can't be like,
it's just how you handle it.
Yeah, in your contract, you can't be like, you cannot leave me a bad review.
Right.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's really scary. But we just worked a wedding together.
We did.
And
how do you feel about it? You rested?
Felt really, really good about it. I edited the sneak peeks yesterday, and yeah, it was. I loved it. It was a really great wedding, but I felt like I got hit by 3 trains the next day, and I have felt that way before, but this one was different. Like this one really took me out, just physically. I have no idea.
It was a 12-hour day for you.
It was, yeah, almost 13 hours. Yeah, almost 13 hours because I got there early. But the night before, I didn't really get that great of sleep. Like, I think I only slept like 5 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And I need like 9.
No, I need 9.
I'm like, I need 9 hours to function. And it was just because like I had to get up early and I didn't want to stress and like kind of just be in a rush before a wedding day. That's like my least favorite thing to do. So I had to wake up early to ensure that I had enough time to do everything that I wanted to do, like eat and go get gas and get all my stuff together without having to like be in panic mode, because then that just like transfers to the wedding day. And so I didn't get enough sleep. It was almost a 13-hour day. I was running around everywhere. We had multiple locations to go to. It was at a hotel, and there's just a lot of moving parts. But the wedding day in itself was amazing. I felt kind of chaotic throughout the day, but I don't know if that was just like me perceiving myself as that or if it was just like mentally or what. But
I didn't perceive you to be chaotic
okay.
at all.
Because I felt like the whole day I was like dropping things. I couldn't get things in my wagon. And I was like, oh my gosh, I swear I have my life together.
Well, I think those moments only happened with you and I. Yeah. So no one else saw that.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, it was like such a good wedding day. I feel like
the couple was so sweet.
The couple was amazing. I love them so much. And not to humble brag, but I'm going to. I swear, like 10 people came up to me and were like, oh my gosh, you're doing amazing. Like, I've never seen like anyone work the way you do. And like, just like, I don't know, just like so many people just coming up to me, just being so sweet. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I've had people do that. But at this wedding, it was just like I felt like every guest was like coming up to me.
Yeah, at least 2 people did that to me, so.
Which is
And I'm
wild.
just the second, so.
Yeah, it's just wild because I really don't see it happen that often. Like I said, every wedding I have 1 or 2 people, and it's usually like the parents or, you know, someone that I've been like, someone that I've been like with all day. And this one, it was just like so many people coming up to me, and it just felt so good because sometimes it does go unnoticed of like how hard you're actually working on a wedding day. And it just felt like a little reminder of like, you know, this is what I'm meant to be doing. And it felt good. One of the guests came up to me and was like, when are you going to shoot, or are you going to shoot my daughter's wedding? And I was like, oh my gosh, of course. Who's your daughter? And we started talking, and he gave me his card so that I could get in contact with him to potentially, hopefully one day shoot her wedding. And I just thought that was cool too, like getting inquiries like the day of a wedding, because this man doesn't know what my work actually even looks like, but
just
it
the
was
way
just
that
like,
you were.
yeah, exactly. And so it just felt really good to have all the like affirmation on a wedding day specifically. It was just like really, really nice. Because I'm like, I do work really hard.
You do. It was a great day.
It really was a great day. And I think you said it's crazy how easy it is because we're so used to it. Like, it was a pretty, not chaotic day, but it was a lot of work. We had to do a lot of things, and it just felt easy. And it's because we've put in the hours of like doing it all the time, and hopefully it just gets easier and easier each time, because that's how I felt. I was like, I feel like I'm missing something, but I'm not.
Right.
I've gotten it all done.
Yeah, it's like when you hit that like expert status and you're like, we're in the flow now.
Yeah, you can like do it in your sleep.
Yeah.
Basically.
And it's just wild to think about like the first couple weddings that you do, and you're like, you think everything's crazy.
Yes. I know. I'm thinking back at the very first weddings too, where like family photos used to like stress me out. But it also goes to show that it was me doing it alone too. And that's really hard to do with
So
like
true.
not having any help. And the first few weddings, I didn't even have a planner. So it was literally me having to plan the wedding, find out where everyone is, try to get everyone like wrangled up for family photos, and like try to find people. And yeah, it is kind of crazy. Like those first few years where I was like, I can't believe I did everything alone with no planner, no second, no video. Like it was just me solo. Like no wonder I was so stressed, because I had to do literally everything. I had to plan the wedding and be the coordinator of the wedding day.
Yeah.
So things do flow and are easier when there's vendors that are just amazing, like the ones we worked with. I just felt like, wow, it was just too easy.
Yeah.
Even looking at the gallery, I was like, oh my gosh, we did get everything. It was amazing. So yeah. How was it for you? Was it easy?
Yeah,
It
was so easy.
Okay.
And yeah, I loved working with like Mackenzie from
Yes.
Stuck Weddings as well. And we had great videographers. So great, so chill.
They are really, really great.
I think that really makes or breaks like a wedding day for me.
Yeah, well, especially when you're kind of like low on time, it's hard to get photography and videography if video is like wanting to do the exact same thing we just did, just like again and again and again. And so that just adds so much more time to the timeline. And even though we were running behind after the ceremony, because we had to go from a church back to the hotel, and we were kind of stuck in traffic, and that took a lot longer than what we thought it would. And even with that, like we were still right on time with everything that we did, which is crazy. And yeah, it goes to show like how much of an expert like we are.
Because you literally had like 5 minutes to take like wedding party photos like outside, and you killed that in like 5 minutes. And everyone, even like the groom, was like, Kimberly's the best photographer. Like, don't worry guys, we'll get this done. Like, and you showed them we did. So
well, no, it was also cold, so I felt bad for all the girls. So I was like, okay, we got to get this done fast.
Well, because it was so sunny in the morning, and then all of a sudden it was overcast.
It was so gloomy and windy and chilly, which is fine. But I know the bride's mom really wanted to use that space. And so, I was like, okay, we'll use it. And then we'll do other pictures inside just because I knew everyone was kind of chilly. Although I felt great. I was like, I need some air.
Right? We're like sweating. Well, everyone else
I
is
know.
so cold.
It was so cold. Yeah, it was a sweaty day. And I also got a lot of compliments on my outfit.
That's what I wanted to say. You looked so amazing, so elevated. Like, honestly, it was very fashion forward. Like, you just don't see wedding photographers, at least like in our area, dressing like that. So I thought you looked so amazing. And that's probably why everyone was coming up to you being like,
I was very magnetic.
you were.
I was magnetic that day, I will say. And it wasn't anything crazy. I wasn't wearing anything that's like
You were wearing
insane.
like basics, but they were elevated. Like,
yes, exactly.
your blazer was really cool. Like, it had like a
cool little design.
Yeah,
on
it was it was the different blazer
than the usual. Yeah. No, I get what you're saying because it is like a basic black blazer, but it just had like cute little elements that like were a little bit more fashionable, I guess, than just like a basic blazer. And I was just wearing black pants and white sneakers, and I had my hair down, and that was it. Like, I really didn't do much, but like you said, there's not a lot of people putting effort into their outfits on a wedding day, which to me, I'm just trying to elevate everything, obviously. My word of the year is just like elevating everything.
It was also a very elevated wedding where all the guests were like in black. So like you have to like dress the part of what you're photographing. I feel
exactly.
Like, so.
Yeah, you kind of almost have to like fit in. You can't like stick out with just like, I don't know, just wearing like the most casual outfit to this like almost like black tie affair.
Right. Yeah. So
yeah, I'm starting to think more about that. Not that I haven't. I feel like I've always been like very aware of like what I'm wearing to wedding days, but now I'm like really like upping it and just like making it my own too, of just like how would I dress. And yeah, it's been fun. Everyone complimented my outfit, which was really cool. And I loved it. I think I might end up buying that blazer because I rented it from Nuuly, which if you're wanting some cool outfits, Nuuly.
Yeah.
Nuuly has great outfits like for work, for parties, events, weddings that you're attending. I love it. I love Nuuly. So yeah, that's it for wedding day, right? I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I wanted to talk about for that wedding. Not really. How was Pilates? How was your week?
Pilates is great. I'm literally going to be that person who just talks about Pilates.
No, I love it. Pilates princess.
I upped it to 3 times a week now.
Ooh, okay.
So I'm feeling stronger.
Yes.
But I wanted to, before I talk about what I did on the weekend, I wanted to ask what you did on your rest day. Didn't you have a rest day on Sunday?
Oh, I literally laid in bed.
Okay, good.
I'm like, me just laying in bed all day.
I'm always like interested what people do like.
Oh my gosh, right. I couldn't even move.
Really?
I was so sore. It was wild because when I got back from that wedding that night, I was already feeling sore in my legs. And I woke up and like my hands were hurting, and my legs were definitely hurting. My back was really sore because it just like feels like all my camera weight is on my shoulders and my back. So it just was like so bad. And yeah, I just realized, okay, yeah, I really do need to work out because that really took me out.
Yeah,
it really did. But no, I literally just laid in bed all day.
Well, while you were laying in bed all day, I was watching a 4-hour movie.
Oh yeah, how was it? Was it good?
Yes, so we went and saw The Brutalist for Ian's birthday on Sunday. It was 4 hours long. There's a 15-minute intermission.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I was right. I was like, is there going to be an intermission? Because that's long.
Yes, which was well needed. The first half, I thought was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Really?
Just like the cinematography, it's shot on like 70mm film.
Ooh.
I feel like the way they used light was like they didn't have any like filler light. So whatever like light was in the room or like through the window is what they used. So it was cool. Like sometimes their faces would be like in the dark. Like it was really beautiful. Colors were amazing. the way that they used like sound was really cool. It was almost like ASMR in some parts, where like if someone was like telling a story, you could like literally, there was like a microphone, like
You could hear the water and everything.
like
oh,
it was insane. So I thought it was like art.
Yes.
The first half really inspiring. Second half, no spoilers, but completely different movie.
Oh, whoa.
Well, a different movie, but I just was not ready for it.
yeah.
It was very intense, very sad.
Oh gosh.
It's one of those movies that
Is it about the Holocaust or
No.
What is it?
it's about
I think that. I don't know.
a Jewish architect.
Oh, maybe that's why I thought it was about the Holocaust.
Yes.
Whoops.
So
Okay, yes. Okay. Yeah, I heard about it.
yeah, the second half was just really intense, different pace than the first for
Okay.
sure. So you kind of almost need that intermission, if you know what I mean.
Gotta breathe.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
It was really good. It's one of those movies that like you fall asleep like thinking about, and then like I had a dream. I'm not gonna say my dream on the podcast because it was really crazy, but
Oh gosh.
I'll tell you later. I also don't want to give any spoilers for the movie, but
Okay, I'll need to watch it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, we were talking about like movies that, or even TV shows that we love to watch just solely because of like the lighting and everything. And that's really good to hear because I've been like really intentional about like watching shows, like trying to pay attention, but also trying to pay attention to like the lighting and like how they got that lighting. And what I was telling Miranda is I watched The Penguin on HBO Max, or I guess now it's called Max. Yeah, which whatever
it is.
You guys know what I mean. And I wasn't expecting for that TV show to just be like the most inspiring like TV show ever in terms of like lighting and just like the scenes and how they captured each scene. And it just turned out to be like something that I'm like, okay, I need to watch this again, but just solely through the eyes of like how they shot everything, because it's just so good. Specifically episode 4, it is just like, it's just so good. I'm like, I love watching stuff that is like inspiring in a different way. Like obviously the show plot is not inspiring like at all. It's just a villain era, but like how they shot it just looks so like, oh, chef's kiss. It's just so moody in New York, and just I love it so much.
And I told Kimberly this the other day, but for the listeners out there, if you haven't seen Mr. Ripley on Netflix, same kind of vibe. It's all black and white film, and I just feel like every shot you could pause it and study it. Like,
yes,
it's so gorgeous. Like I want to go back and watch it just so that I can study the shots. Like,
yeah, no, and we should. I feel like that's a good, like TV shows and movies are a good way to get creative or get inspiration without it being like specifically what you're wanting to shoot.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. So like wedding photography, like, yeah, you can go on Pinterest, see other weddings, but it's really when you start looking at other creative mediums where you really get so much creativity from, because you're thinking in a way that is different than what is usually shown to you in terms of like, let's say wedding photography. Like, I don't know how I would use wedding photography and like The Penguin, but there's a way that I could do it. It's just like you just have to like really be aware and think about how that can inspire you in other aspects.
Well, when you consume art, it is like in your subconscious. And so whatever you're consuming is what you're going to be creating.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're only consuming other wedding photography, you're just going to probably spit out the same
just copy
stuff.
and paste.
Yeah,
which isn't bad, but there's other ways to get inspiration, which is nice. Oh, I wanted to talk about this client inquiry that I got.
Oh, okay.
So usually when I get inquiries, is it inquiries? Inquiries?
Inquiries.
Oh my gosh. Why am I always finding out the weirdest things on the podcast? I'm like, how do you talk? How do you say words? Okay, so I got this inquiry, and usually when I get inquiries that give me nothing, I get really annoyed. And
like on your
just
contact form?
yes. Just when they're like, I don't know, NA. And then,
not the NA.
yes, NA. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then like nothing's filled out except for like their names. And I usually get like really annoyed and I'm like, I don't even want to answer this because it's like I'm like, give me something. How am I supposed to be excited for your wedding day if you're giving me nothing? Like nothing. It's just like, oh, we're together. And then that's it. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, how do I even respond to that?
Yeah.
So that's just my initial gut instinct is just like, ugh, that's how I feel usually. But then I just kind of have to sit with it. I'm like, you're a business owner. It's okay. Like maybe they've had to do this like a million times already and they just don't want to do it again. And so I get this inquiry and sometimes I'll respond if they give me nothing and sometimes I won't because I'm just like, I just get so sad about it. I think I just get in my own head where I'm just like, ugh, they don't want to give me anything. Well, I don't want to give them anything either. That's just speaking my truth. I know that's probably just like not the way to do things, but that's just how I react sometimes. And I'm just human, okay? And so this time I kind of like took it with a new lens. Like, I guess it was like the new year and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to respond anyways. So I get this inquiry and they gave me something, but it wasn't like anything that was just like, oh my gosh, yes, like this is my client, blah, blah, blah. It was just kind of like the basics, which is fine too. And we get on a call and it goes great. Like we're like best friends now. Like it was just like
Really?
such a good call. Yes. And I asked her, what did I ask her? I asked her like, oh, what do you want to see like in your wedding gallery? Or how are you like, what inspires you with photography? Like, what are you looking for in a photographer? And she was like, oh, I've talked to so many photographers and I don't think any of them have asked me that.
Really?
And I was like, girl, what? I'm your
my
photographer.
number
like,
one question.
Yeah, like, how are they supposed to know what you want? Because every client is so different. Like, just because you're having a wedding doesn't mean that you're wanting the same photos or like you're prioritizing different things. So, like, how are people supposed to know? And so that one was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe people aren't asking this. And so anyway, she like tells me the call goes great. It is like such a good call. And I send her like my proposal and everything. And she's like, oh, like we can't imagine anybody else. We're going to talk to our parents. They're just out of town right now. And we'll get back to you whenever we can. So that just gave me like, I don't know, it just like opened up my eyes. Like just because they didn't give me much in the client inquiry form doesn't mean they're going to be a bad couple.
Right.
Or like not a bad couple. That's the wrong word, but just like
doesn't mean it's not aligned.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's kind of like what I learned with this inquiry because like it was such an easy call. I didn't even feel like it was a consult call or anything. I felt like I was just talking to a friend about like what I do, what they want for their wedding photography. And so, yeah, that's just something that I learned about it. And also that they might be talking to a lot of photographers and they don't want to like, you know, put it in every single inquiry form.
Or they just like value their time and don't want to spend a lot of time filling out a contact form.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so that's kind of like what I've learned. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why is my initial thought to be like, ugh, that's so
like
annoying.
why is our initial thought like you owe me something
Yes,
already? Like
I know.
what?
So entitled.
Yeah.
And it's true because it's like it does feel like in a way where you're like, oh, I want to give you so much of my time and my energy, but you're not giving me anything. And so it does feel weird, but now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so annoying.
Well, also I feel like when someone's planning a wedding, they have so many vendors and to them planning a wedding might be stressful and finding all the vendors is like a to-do list.
Yes.
And so
it's so overwhelming.
Even though each vendor is also an artist, their initial thought might not be like, oh, I really like this artist and their art. Let me connect on like an emotional level. They're just trying to book you.
Yeah. And then maybe that emotional connection will come at like that phone call. I feel like that's when we were both like, oh, this is perfect. Exactly. We're so aligned. Like this is everything. I would love to, you know, shoot your wedding. but I didn't get that in the initial inquiry form, and I almost wouldn't have booked that wedding if I didn't answer, or if I just was like, meh,
Right.
I don't want to do this.
And I feel like some people have very like hard boundaries, like, nope, I'm only gonna take clients who are obsessed with me and my work. And that's fine. And you can do that as well, but you might be missing out on opportunities that you just kicked to the curb because you weren't.
Because you don't even know.
Yeah.
You don't even know. And I just realized, like, she probably is talking to a lot of photographers and just doesn't want to fill out every single inquiry form, like being like, I love you so much.
Right.
Like, please shoot my wedding.
Yeah.
One, also, like, they might have just found you. So it's like they don't have that connection with you yet, because it's like, oh, they just followed me on Instagram. Like, she hadn't been following me for years and years, and like has been obsessed with my work. So it wasn't until we got on that call that she was probably like, oh, wow, yes, this is the one. Like, it felt right to her. So yeah, that's what I learned.
I love
this
that.
past week, where I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I like had that mindset for a long time. And I don't know, I was just like, oh my gosh, Kim,
Yeah.
sometimes we make mistakes.
And maybe we
And we're
can
human.
talk more like on a future episode about like weeding out people to where if they were a red flag, you would be able to catch it.
Yeah.
So that you're not just relying on every contact form inquiry, like trying to weed out from the contact form.
Yeah.
Because like we were talking about, you could weed out someone on accident that would be a really good fit. So maybe we should talk about like the steps you take before you even get to the contact form.
Yeah, I think that would be good. That would be a really good episode. Yeah, I agree. That would be really good. And I did want to talk a little bit about my journaling journey.
Oh, yes.
So I have my journal, and it's like a leather cover. If you're on YouTube or a Spotify video, this is what it looks like. It's just red, and it has 3 journals inside of it. And so one of the journals I'm going to use for my morning pages, which I'm going to start this week, from the Artist Way. And I think that was something you were going to talk about later, right? Okay. And another journal is going to be just like inspo, quotes that I like, stickers that I get, just anything from like my daily life, or if I like print out a Polaroid, maybe I'll put it in the journal, just things that inspire me, and just like different quotes, or like if I'm listening to a podcast and one of the quotes on there is like really good, I'm going to start writing things down.
Good. I always forget everything I listen to.
Me too. Which I think journaling is going to be kind of life-changing, just because like I do have ADHD, and I have the ADHD where it's oh my gosh, what is it called? It used to be called ADD, but now it's just ADHD inattentive, which for me, it like happens in my brain. My brain is super hyperactive. And so I think that journaling will finally help me just kind of like put my thoughts together, and they're not like jumbled in my brain, and where I can just kind of like jot my thoughts down without any judgment. And so I have a journal for just inspiration, ideas, and then I have a journal for work, and I'm calling it Work of Art. So it's just kind of like to-do lists, what I can do to make my business better, content ideas, all of those things.
Work of art.
Yes,
I like that.
I love it. And so, yeah, so those are my 3 journals that I'm going to start using. So I need to start putting things down, because my brain is just like so full of thoughts, so full of everything, that I'm like, I just need to start writing things down. And I think it'll help with the podcast if I write things down, because it'll be like I'm talking to myself, or like if I'm on a podcast where maybe I'll stop saying like, and I'll stop saying so much. So I'm hoping that it'll help with the podcast too, and help articulate my thoughts better as well, because since I've already written them down, I can talk about it more. So that's kind of like what I'm working on right now, is just like getting in my journaling era.
Yes. And it's such a beautiful journal.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
I didn't see the charm on it.
Oh yeah. I just added that. I ordered some more charms because people put it like on the side, and so I'm gonna put some charms on there, which is really exciting. And with the journaling, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't really know how to write in cursive.
Really?
Like I do, because my handwriting is cursive and print
Mixed
together. Yeah.
So
I've
is
never
mine.
been like cursive only. And so I actually bought a book on Amazon to like help me
Cute.
do cursive or help me write in cursive, because I think that writing in cursive is so chic
It is.
and just very like, it gives your writing personality. And so that's like something that I'm gonna learn as an adult, which is funny because I've never heard anybody talk about that. I'm like, I'm learning cursive. Get into it. So yeah, that's all I had to say about the journaling. But now I guess we could go into the books.
Yes, today we wanted to talk about some of our favorite books we've read and the lessons that we've learned from them.
Yes, which I don't know how you guys are. Hold on, let's pause because my dogs are barking. Okay, so the way I am with books is I'll read a book. I'll be in that headspace for like maybe a day or two, and then I just forget everything that book's about. I'm like, it's a great book, but I don't know anything about it. It like literally, it goes in and out of my brain. So I did have to write some notes about it because I
I
was
wrote
like,
notes too.
okay, because
No
I was
worries.
like, I know this is a great book, but I don't know anything about
Yes,
it.
it's like you remember it changing your life,
Yes.
but you're like, wait,
How?
how?
When?
It's like,
Yes.
I think we just integrate things so fast that it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
it becomes second nature. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, wait, that book actually taught me that.
Yeah, exactly. And I only have 3 because I saw the ones you did and I was like, oh, well, if she's already going to talk about it, I'm not going to put it on mine. So
Okay.
I just have 3. But do you want to start off with yours?
Yes.
Or your first one?
I will start. And listen, I'm new to reading like business and self-help books. Probably the past 2 years is like when
Yeah.
I first started.
Okay, yeah.
'Cause
I think I don't really, well, honestly, my whole list isn't about business. It's just mindset. Because
Yeah.
I don't think I read a lot of business books. I think
Okay.
I just read a lot of mindset
I
and
think
just
I have
fiction.
like 1 or 2 business books on here, but
yeah. And those were the ones that I was going to talk about anyway. So I was
Okay,
like,
cool.
I'm not going to put them on my list. But anyway, sorry, go on.
Okay, so the first book that I ever read that was like, ooh, I think I'm going to change my life
Ooh, yes.
was The Artist Way.
Oh, yep.
And you're probably either in 2 camps. You've heard everything about it and you're sick and tired of hearing it, or you're like, what's The Artist Way?
Yes.
And if that is you, please go get it and read it.
Yeah, we can start it together. I'm starting soon. So
yes.
tell me how it goes.
So basically, wait, I just completely lied. That wasn't the first book I read.
It's fine.
I had one before that prompted me to want to read The Artist Way.
Oh, okay.
But let's just talk about The Artist Way. So it's kind of a mindset shift book. It's a great intro book into like the spiritual path if you are an artist or wanting to become an artist. It talks a lot about how we're all artists and we're all creative. So even if you don't have like a creative career or if you want to have a creative career, it's a great book to read anyways. It's a great book to do like a book club with friends, which is what I did. Kinsey actually inspired me to start reading it, and so we kind of read it with 3 other people. And it's great to do for a book club because there's weekly assignments, kind of like homework assignments.
Yeah, it's great accountability too when you're doing it with other people.
Yes. And so I just love it so much. There's 2 main like topics that it goes over. The first one is morning pages, which is basically the first thing you do when you wake up is you start journaling 3 pages, and it's not intimidating at all because it's just brain dump. Literally
You're just free flowing. Whatever is in your mind, even if it's like, I don't know what to write, you're writing it down.
Yeah. Even if the sentence that you're writing is, I don't know what to write, because that was me a lot of the times.
Yes. Because it's hard to get into that habit if you're not used to journaling. You're just like, well, I have no thoughts all of a sudden.
And it's basically a tool for you to get into like your subconscious thoughts and putting them on paper. And it was life-changing for me. I did it for honestly about a year straight, and then I kind of did it on and off, and now I haven't been doing them anymore, but I want to get back into it. But for the year that I was doing them, I think I saw the most exponential growth in my spiritual life, my money making,
business,
everything.
Yeah, it is so nice. Well, one of the things that I do when I start something is I look at TikTok to see what other people's thoughts are on the thing that I'm trying to do. So like journaling, I went on TikTok and was like, oh, what do people journal, or like how do they do their journals or whatever. And when I was like, you know what, I'm going to start the artist way again, I went on TikTok and I was like, okay, well, what are other people thinking? How did it change your life? Just to kind of like motivate me a little bit more to do it, especially since I'm like, I don't have anybody doing it with me. I just needed like some support and motivation. And one of the things someone said was that the reason morning pages work so well is because you're just like in free thought and there's no judgment on what you're writing. And one of the things we do as humans is that we ruminate on our thoughts. And once you have it on paper and you're writing it on paper, you're so much more aware of what you're thinking. And so it's easier for you to be like, oh, yeah, I don't actually think that. Why am I saying it? Why are my thoughts? And so you're just like more aware of the mean thoughts that you say to yourself. And so that's the way it changes, is because like you're writing it down so often that you almost are like, what the heck? Why am I thinking that?
And once you get it like down to paper, it doesn't like cling to you as much.
Yes, exactly. It doesn't ruminate.
It like you let go of it. And then Julia Cameron, who is the author of this book, she talks about how you're not supposed to go back and like read through your morning pages. So it's like a safe space, like you're just brain dumping. You're not like, it's not performative in any way.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is a lot of the reasons why I never took up journaling in the past, because I would just sit there and try and make my cursive look beautiful and be poetic. And
no,
that's not what
morning
pages
it's not supposed
is.
to be. Yeah, it's not supposed to be that. That's not that's not what it's supposed to be. It's just supposed to be brained up of what you have to do that day, what you're thinking, anything. And 3 pages does sound like a lot, but one of the things that I saw on TikTok too is like, you can even start with a notebook this big, and if it's 3 pages, you did your assignment. And so just kind of like, even if you have to start off with like a small little journal and not like, this giant journal of like, you have to write like 3,000 words to hit the limit or whatever, you can start small with that too. So it is a really, really good book. And I like the book too because it has like questions you can ask yourself too, right? It has like things that she has on there.
There's like an exercise up.
Yeah, there you go. That's what chapter. I was trying to say, is exercises, which is really, really good. And then the next part of it.
The next part is going on an artist date, which is a solo date, doing something creative or something that will spark creativity in you. And that is really important to implement too. And I saw a lot of growth once I started doing that too, just because we never do that.
Yeah. It's not intentional.
It's not. Yeah. So
just being with yourself and just like going somewhere by yourself is,
and sometimes that just
life-changing.
Looks like going thrifting just by yourself. Like it's supposed to be a practice where you prioritize yourself and having fun and being creative. Doesn't mean you have to like go paint.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can do anything. And just being out in the world, that's where you get like the best ideas, because you're seeing different things, you're seeing different people, you're looking at different things, and that's where you get your creativity from. And so if you don't do that, then where's your creativity coming from?
Yeah.
That's why
social media.
That's why people are so blocked, is because they don't intentionally go out and just like wander like a little kid, just be like, oh my gosh,
Yes, you said the word blocked. The whole book is to help you get unblocked as an artist,
because we're so blocked usually.
Yeah.
And that goes with like the morning pages too, is like that's how you get unblocked, because like you're so aware of what you're thinking and you're almost like, oh my gosh, kind of shocked at how you think about yourself. And so it's supposed to just help you get unlocked. Yeah. So one of the first books that I read on like mindset is Everything is Figure Outable by Marie Forleo. I think that's how you
Ooh.
say her name. And again, I read this one so long ago, probably like 5 years ago, but it is something that saying everything is outable has stuck with me for all of those years. And of course, like I didn't really remember what it was about, but it's mindset, and it's just like a motivational guide to tackle any challenge with your mindset. And it just encourages action over perfection and
like that.
debunks limiting beliefs that hold you back. And so everything is figure outable. I say that all of the time, especially when I'm just like stressed and overwhelmed, and I think that like I can't figure this out. I'm like, no, literally everything you can figure out. And so this book has really, really stuck with me, and it's packed with like practical exercises to reframe your like negative self-talk and build confidence, which honestly I probably need to reread because it is a really good book. And one of the key takeaways of the book is with the right mindset and persistence, you can achieve anything, which I always say.
Yeah.
Like mindset is everything. And if you don't have a good mindset, you're not going to be able to accomplish everything you want. And so that's why I do read a lot of mindset books, because I don't know, I do believe that when you have the right mindset, you can achieve all your goals and everything. Oh, and maybe not, but it is much easier.
Yeah.
It is much easier to achieve things when you have a good mindset than when you don't.
Yeah.
So that one is like a really, really good book to read if you're like in that space of like wanting your mindset to be better and like just shifting your limiting beliefs.
That sounds like a book I want to read. I haven't heard it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm surprised. Yeah. It's such a good book. So Everything is Figure Outable by Marie Forleo.
Love that. I'm just going to start using that mantra too.
Yes. It's such a good mantra. I use it all of the time. So it has stuck with me. So it's a really, really good book.
Okay. Next on my list. Before I read The Artist's Way, the first book I actually read was You're a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero.
Such a good book.
I have read this book 3 times. I try and read it like every year. It honestly changed my life. I think this is a great intro book into changing your mindset. Even if you're like, what the hell is my mindset? I don't know.
Yeah.
Read this book and you will figure it out.
Yes, it really awakens something in you for sure. And just the way that they frame things in the book is just like, oh my gosh, duh. But like you have to read it in order to like have that like duh moment.
Yeah. It's a lot about checking in with your limiting beliefs and figuring out why you believe those things, where they came from, what happened in your childhood to make you believe that, and then figuring out that those beliefs no longer serve you and they're not actually your story and you can rewrite your story. And so that really changed my life. And
yeah, that is a good book.
Yeah.
I've read it 2 or 3 times too. Yeah, I probably need to add that to my list to read this year as well, because I haven't read it in a while, and it is such a like classic staple that every creative entrepreneur should be reading.
And I love the part where it talks about like energetic minimums, because that's the first time I've ever really heard that. And just realizing that you can change your energetic minimums was like really revolutionary for me. So
yeah. No, that's so good. I do like that book as well. And that was going to be on my list too, but you already had it.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm not even going to mention it. So the second book, I actually read this recently, maybe in the past few months, and it's called Don't Believe Everything You Think by Joseph. I don't know how to say his last name. Nung? Not sure, but Don't Believe Everything You Think. And I talked about this on one of the first podcasts where I was mentioning that your thoughts are different than thinking. So that first thought is always just kind of like you can't really control that thought, but you can control what's next. And so that's kind of like how I learned about that was through this book. And it explores how our thoughts shape our reality and how to break free from limiting beliefs, which always trying to break free from limiting beliefs. It's so hard. But this book really, it's such an easy read too. I'm pretty sure I read it in like one night. Like it's really not a hard read. It's really practical and just like, yeah, easy to read. It's nothing like, it's not like this weird like scientific jargon, but it does give you like examples of like, why is it that we think this way? And we can shift our thinking and we need to like stop ruminating on the bad thoughts, because you can think that bad thought, but you can also change it right after. You don't have to like keep thinking and keep thinking about that one thought where you're like, oh my gosh, I suck at this. Okay, you can think that, but then that next thought should be like, oh no, like I just need to learn how to do this and that. So that book was really, really good. It teaches mindfulness and the art of observing thoughts without attaching to them. So just like, I guess that's what kind of what meditation is too, is when you're meditating, like you can think that first thought, but then just let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah, it just gone with the wind. And then just focuses on aligning with your true self instead of letting your mind control you. And the key takeaway from this book is freedom and peace come from letting go of the stories you tell yourself, because we tell ourselves stories over and over and over again where it becomes a part of your identity. And once you shift away from that and change into a different identity, it really does change your life when you're not like just always thinking about the limiting beliefs that are setting you back. So that's a really, really good, easy to read book that just kind of like, of course, it's one of those books where you're like, of course this makes sense. Like I know this, but why am I not implementing it? Yeah. So it's really good.
Amazing. The next book that I have is more of a businessy, actually, yeah, business, but money book. It's called Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. I can never say that.
Oh, yeah. I've read that book before. Yes. I think I read it when I first started my business. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's a great intro book to money management if you have no idea what you're doing like I was. It's basically the whole premise is to pull out profit first before you allocate your money to any other like budgets. Because there's like some stat in the book where it's like if you hold on, I just forgot the stat.
You're fine. Just make it up. I'm just kidding.
If you have like so much money, like you will spend the amount of money that you have.
Oh, yes.
So a lot of the times in old business books, it tells you to take out like expenses first and then your profit last. But most of us as business owners will not take out that profit last because we will spend it in our business.
That makes sense.
So his whole thing is if you take out profit first, you're making that a priority, and so you won't touch that. And yes, that's like a good money tip, but it also helped me prioritize other things in my life, and I kind of took it as I want to pull out, like when I'm scheduling my year, let's say, instead of putting my weddings first on my calendar, I've been saying, okay, I'm gonna pull out my vacation days first. Or I know I want to spend a week for my birthday, so I'm putting that on the calendar first. And that way, whenever a wedding comes, like an inquiry, and I can look at my calendar and say I'm already booked for that week. So sorry about you. No, I'm just kidding. But just like prioritizing your personal life and and putting those things first before your business stuff. So
yeah, no, it is a great book. I actually forgot about that. I need to start implementing that again. I think I might still do that, but not in the same way.
Yeah, it's very actionable. He goes in and tells you like what bank accounts you need to have,
Yes, I
how much
remember that.
percent of your income goes to each.
Yeah, which is such a good book, especially when you're starting. Because, yeah, I think a lot of people's like fear is about money and like how to manage it and where to put it and like all of this stuff with like business because it is kind of scary. But that book does really help with anyone starting a business. So, yeah, definitely another classic staple that you should have.
And it's amazing because no matter how much money you're making, you will always have a profit.
Yes.
Which, why would you go into business without having a profitable business?
Yeah,
That
exactly.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you can't have a business
Right.
if it's not profitable.
Yeah.
So that's so true.
So you don't have to have a lot of money to start implementing
Yeah,
this.
exactly. Yeah. Okay, so my third one, my last one, is The Mountain Is You by Brianna West. I'm not sure how to say that one. But The Mountain Is You. It's like a deep dive into self-sabotage and why we do it and how to stop it.
Oh, wow.
It is such a good book. This one is also kind of easy to read, but it's also digestible in a way where you don't have to like read it all the way through. You can kind of like skip around, see what like kind of like speaks to you in a way. And it's just like a really good book. It helps you turn challenges and emotional struggles into like growth opportunities, encourages self-awareness, which we all need, emotional healing, and just taking responsibility for change. And so it's just a really good book to read. Again, all of mine are mindset, but gosh, it is just so important for business.
so
like it really
important.
is. It is like the number one thing that I need to prioritize. And so all these books are really good if that's what you want to prioritize too, is your mindset before you even get into any of like the business stuff. And so the key takeaway with this one is you are your biggest obstacle, but you're also your greatest solution, which is so true. Because you can change. You just have to be a little bit more aware of how you're self-sabotaging, and that book really, really gives it to you. It's like tough love, but in a good way. And it gives like different examples of like what you could be doing and how to get out of that self-sabotage cycle.
I love it.
Yeah, it's
I
really.
need to listen to that too.
Yeah, no, it's so good. All these books. I know I'm like, I wish I could read like 1,000,000 books a year because I'd be reading all of these again. It's just hard to read that much.
It is.
Especially, and also just like retain it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, what's your next one?
My next one is Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller.
Also a classic.
Such a classic, but it's one of those books where I always heard about it and I was like, whatever, I'll read that whenever.
Yes.
And I just never did. And then I read it this past year and it's such an easy book to read. You could read it in 2 hours. I think I read it in 2 hours.
Yeah.
There's no fluff. It's very actionable, which I really like. And it's great for creating your why, your brand mission statement, and all of the copy that you would need in your marketing messaging, which I literally have one document that I took notes on while I was reading this, and I go back every single time I need like copy for anything.
Yep.
It's just all right there, and it just gives you so much clarity, which makes everything easier.
Yeah, it gives you clarity on your brand,
Yes.
which a lot of people when they're first starting their business, I don't think take that into account. They just start their business without knowing who they're serving, why they're serving these people, what your marketing is going to look like. And this book really, really helps you gain clarity in who you are as a business because you need to stand out basically.
Yes.
And so this book kind of helps you with that.
Yeah, and it makes it so easy because I tried for years trying to figure out what my brand needs to be, and it was just all very confusing, and I would flip-flop all the other times, like, and so yeah, it was just a life-changing book. You need to read it. It also talks about the hero's journey and how our client is the hero, not us.
Yes.
And so,
well, and the hero's journey is also like a part of movies and books, and so he just takes it in a way where it's about business and how your clients have a conflict, or how is it, what is the steps to it. It's like your client's the hero, they have a
problem.
conflict, and then
They meet a guide.
we are the solution, right?
Yeah, we're the guide. So it's like we are Gandalf and our client is Frodo.
Yes.
That's the like main example that he uses. And so it kind of helps you just change your marketing around to where you are leading your client through the journey from problem to solution. Because a lot of times our messaging can just be all about us. Like, I am this photographer and my style is this.
Yeah,
and blah, blah, blah.
I'm an artist. Book me.
Like, that's not helping anyone.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Yeah. No, that one is such a good one too. And I don't know. I feel like all of these, I'm like, okay, if you're just starting your business, these are some good books to start with. Like these, we didn't really intentionally do that, but I think if you're starting a business or trying to get into starting a business, like reading these books will really help, especially those business books that Miranda talked about. And if you're like wanting to like almost like rebrand, the story brand is a good one to just kind of always go back on if you're like looking to change things up or just do different marketing too. It helps with that as well, and like how you're being perceived online or just as a business in general. So it really helps with that. Is there another one?
I just had one more. The Emotional Entrepreneur by Scout Sobel. We love her.
Yes, love.
It's also a great mindset, like intro to mindset book. I am someone who really likes science-backed things and like strategy and like not actionable, but like just more like science-based things.
Yeah, well, I love to know the why. Why does that work? Or like why is that the way I'm thinking? Or I'm with you on that. And if there's like even just like facts to go back it up, I'm like, okay, yes. Yeah. It just like makes more sense in my mind, I guess, than just people just saying like, oh, this is how it works, but them not giving me the why. I'm like, I need the why.
Yeah. But with all that being said, this book is very like more intuitive and like, which was a good palate cleanser for me when I'm just reading like books like The Story Brand and stuff like that. It's about like a woman entrepreneur. She is a big expander for me just because she has struggled with mental health and bipolar disorder. And she really talks about how she overcame all those things in creating a business.
Yeah, and she's so successful. Like,
so successful.
So successful.
And she also gives you permission to run your business however you want, which I really loved.
Yeah, no. I feel like I'm always screaming that from the rooftops is you can run it any way you want. You don't have to copy anyone. You don't have to do it the way other people are doing it. You can run it exactly how you want to do it.
And the final takeaway that I got from her book is it really helped me create like a work-life balance. Because she goes into like her whole routine, and you don't have to copy her exact routine. I don't copy her. I did like for like 5 days, and I was like,
like, this isn't for me.
But going back to like you can do it however you want. It just like really gives you permission to just create and design your life and have like a balance. Because I think before I read this book, I was just like all business all the time. And like that really did fulfill me. But you come to a point where like you get burned out. And then you're like, okay.
Yeah, because you're not doing anything.
If I didn't have my business, would I still be like happy in life? Like, would I be fulfilled? Probably not whenever I was doing that.
So. Yeah, when it was just like business 24/7, girl boss grind.
Right.
Yeah, no, I love her stuff recently too. And speaking of Scout, is that all you had to say?
That's all.
Okay, I didn't want to interrupt. Speaking of Scout, this is something also that I wanted to talk about earlier is I have been getting into Substack.
Oh, I love Substack.
Oh my gosh. It is giving me Tumblr vibes.
Yes.
For sure. Like everything is so aesthetic. Everything is so thought out. Like I've been like following these people that are just like, I don't know, just talking about things that aren't really being talked about anywhere else and just like being able to like read their thoughts and opinions about it. I love it. I think it's going to be my new social media, like main social media platform besides like TikTok, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Is just like going on there to like find inspiration where I can't find anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like
And
I
Scout has a
love
really
it.
good one.
Yes, exactly. And so that's why I was like, oh my gosh, wait, that's how well, actually, I don't know how I got into Substack or like why I downloaded it. I think maybe I got like an email from someone and then I was like, oh, what's this? And so I just subscribed. And just recently this week I was like, maybe I need to like make this a part of like my routine and get more into it because it's so good. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have like Twitter or anything like that, so it's nice to have like a place where I can like read
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Well, I've always wanted to have a Substack, but I just was always intimidated and felt like I wasn't a good writer.
Oh yeah.
But it's on my goals for 2025 is to start one because I'm going to take like a writing workshop.
Ooh, fun.
Yes. And so that's
Wait, when are you taking that?
I think it's in March.
Oh, okay. Is it like in person or
No,
how
it's
is it?
online. It's through Rachel Larson Weaver. Do you know
Oh
her?
no, I don't.
She is mommy to
Really?
all us family photographers.
Stop. Okay, amazing. And she's a great writer.
Amazing. And she does a writing workshop.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh wow, that'll be so fun.
Yeah. So that's another way that I want to try and use my voice this year is through writing.
Okay, that's really
So-
cool. I won't be doing that, but well, I'm already journaling, so I'm like, I can't
No,
add something
that's
else to my
amazing.
plate. I'm learning how to write in cursive. I can't add a blog.
I love it.
No, that's so good. That's so cool. But yeah, I just like the other day when I was on Substack, I was like, oh my gosh, this is giving me Tumblr. And
Yeah.
I was
It's
in
fun.
Tumblr. I was on Tumblr. That's where I got like all my inspiration when I was like in high school for photography, everything. Like, oh, I love it. I'm just like, I just feel so nostalgic for Tumblr because it's not the same as it used to be. And now with Substack, like I see images that I'm like so inspired by and like random recipes and people's thoughts that are just like very intriguing and I don't know, life or not life opening, but just like eye opening where it's like, oh, I've never thought about it that way.
Mhm.
And so it's just been fun to get on there. So everyone get on Substack. It might be like the new thing. Well, I guess it is technically
It
the
is,
new
but
thing.
it's just like a funner way to consume content. I think.
Yeah. Especially you can curate it very
Mhm.
well. So it doesn't. I also love that it's like none of the people that like show up on my thing are like people that I follow anywhere else or like they're not like
Mm.
friends or anything. It's just like random people on the internet, which I think is kind of cool too.
Mhm.
Of just random people's thoughts and everything.
I think it's also like less of a dopamine hit. So
Yes.
you're really like sitting with like you're just reading. I mean you can like put like photos and videos on there, but most of it's words. So
yeah.
it's just
And
like
inspiring
a nicer
photos.
pace
Yes.
to consume content
Yeah.
than like
Yeah.
TikTok.
And that's why I liked Pinterest because it was so inspiring. But now I like Substack because it's like pictures and words. So it's like nice to read through people's thoughts and what
Mhm.
they're saying, which I think is really cool. But yeah, I forgot that I wanted to mention Substack earlier. That's what it's called, right?
Mhm.
Substack? Okay. I kept saying it and I was like, is that even the right title? Anyways.
Abby has a Substack.
Oh yeah, I think I followed you guys. I followed you. I followed Abby.
Yeah, Abby's an amazing writer.
Oh my gosh, I haven't even looked. I
She's
just followed her,
literally a
but I didn't
poet.
even. Oh my
You
gosh.
need to read
Okay.
her posts.
Wow.
She's only had like one or two, but
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just followed her, but I didn't look through any of her stuff. So okay, I will. Wow. Interesting. I'm like, again, won't be doing that, but good for you guys. No, that's so funny. Okay, well, should we talk about book club?
yes, book club.
Oh my gosh, we're starting a book
I
club.
already forgot what the name of the book that we're reading.
Oh, I wrote it down with some bullet points to kind of share about it because obviously I haven't read it yet. So we're going to start a book club and it's just going to be like a monthly book club and we'll record a podcast episode after a month or something like that, right? We haven't even gone through the terms or like anything.
Yeah.
But what I'm thinking is that we'll read the book, give ourselves a month to read the book, and then we'll do like a recap podcast episode of the book and just kind of like what we learned from it, blah, blah, blah. And so the book that we're going to start off with is Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guadara.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Look it up. You'll see it. It's a masterclass on creating unforgettable experiences by going above and beyond in service. Focuses on building emotional connections, not just fulfilling expectations. And they share stories and lessons from the hospitality industry to inspire generosity and thoughtfulness. And the key takeaway of the book is true success comes from making others feel valued and cared for in unexpected ways. So I thought that would be a really good book for anybody that is a service provider, just because it is about hospitality, but I think it'll give us great ideas of what we can do in photography in order to, have like a successful business and just kind of go above and beyond people's expectations, which I think a lot of us kind of like fall through with that, which, I mean, I'm one of those people. So I just want to kind of like learn what the thoughts are in that book and just see how I can take it into photography.
Yeah, I'm excited. It sounds perfect for this season of life, especially getting ready for a busy season, wanting to have a great client experience.
Especially at the top of the year, I feel like it'll be a really good book to read.
Yeah.
And we can like switch up our workflows and what we do with our businesses. So I thought that would be a great book. So if you want to read along,
please.
you can.
Let's be friends.
Yeah.
And read it together.
Yes. You don't have to, but you should. But also, we're going to do a recap. So if you're like, I'm not going to read it, I'm just going to listen to the recap episode, you can do that too. Yeah. I feel like that would be me. And you're like, oh, yeah, I won't be reading it, but I'll listen. So that'll be our book that we read, and we'll recap in a month. So get that on your calendar. And I guess that is it for today's episode. Unless, Miranda, do you have anything else to talk about, say, update on? Nothing?
No.
Okay.
I'm all yapped out.
Yeah, we're done. We're done here, guys. Okay, well, thank you for listening, watching, just being a part of the podcast. We have seen so much growth from it, which is so crazy. Thank you for all the encouragement, all the like thoughtful messages you guys have been sending Miranda. That last one was just like incredible. What was it? What did you send me? It was like, we have like the perfect podcast voices, and I was like, oh my gosh, we do? We feel very insecure, but thank you.
Someone said, this is a podcast for the girlies.
Yes.
I'm like, yes.
No, it really is. And we have been trying so hard to make it, everything that I would love in a podcast. And yeah, so we're very thankful for you guys for listening and watching and just hyping us up, because it does help. It does help, and we're very, very grateful. But all right, that's it for today. We will see you guys next week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, everything.
Give us 5 stars, please.
Yes, 5 stars only. All right, see you guys. Bye.